Guys, it's time to think major about why Major Williams is still running for governor. What's up, everybody? This is Brian Burley, Politician Reacts. We started this last week. We had a lot of good progress. And one of the big controversies over the last month has been Major Williams for governor, some of the controversy surrounding his campaign. We're going to get into a little bit of this and to why he's still running for governor and if he's using his campaign to potentially promote his business. A little bit of background, because we're going to jump over and look at a few things on his Instagram, because he's mostly a social media candidate. We're going to cover this, and we're probably not going to cover him again, just because we're kind of giving oxygen to somebody who might not have the best interests, and he's more than welcome to respond and reach out to me personally. So we ran a poll. My local committee ran a poll. The first poll had 8,000 registered California voters. The second one had 5,000. Over the course of those polls, it was about 3 weeks, was when Major had his controversies. He went from approximately 10.5% to 5.5%, so he lost about half of his support. This was what he said in response to our poll.
I just want to give you a heads up. Having a marketing background, I understand some of the gimmicks and some of the tactics and tricks that these political individuals try to play. So there was most recently a poll said that Major Williams has dropped like 50%, he should drop out. But if you look at the actual polling and where it comes from, it's from a very small group of individuals, about like 4,000 people, which is nowhere near the 15 million people who are registered to vote here in California, and the 2.1 million who actually signed the recall petition. So if people believe that that's a measuring bar in regards to the impact and the support that we have in this campaign, our support is way larger than it is on social media. We've been shadowed like crazy. So no, don't get deterred or distracted by these polls that are out there. We're doing remarkable, and we will continue to push forward with this campaign and do amazing things.
Okay, so that was what he said in regards to our poll. Firstly, there are a handful of candidates running for governor. Only one of them has been on the ballot once. You're reaching out to his point. You're reaching out to 20 million potential voters. John Cox is the only one that's been on the ballot that has an inherent name recognition. No one knows who Major Williams is, so for him to think that he's going to put up a huge number is maybe a little far-fetched. Secondly, no one ever said for him to drop out. In fact, I reached out to him and I said, do you really want to put yourself through this? Because obviously there was a lot that was going on behind the scenes. People that were saying that he was doing certain things, and I'm not the judge of that. I will put some information out here about his past, and it's on him. He should have been prepared, campaigning for a year. He should have been prepared for these questions and how he's going to handle them. And I feel, him responding to, he says we don't have a big social media following. That's true. I don't like social media. Our YouTube is growing. It grew like pretty quickly over the first 4 days, and that's fine. People are watching. We're spreading our emails out about the recall to 2 million people. So obviously he felt the need that we had a big enough reach to respond. And but to his point, there's 20 million people, and he hasn't reached out to those 20 million people. So he is 5% is actually probably really high. It might even be lower if you were to ask, the average Joe that's trying to get their kid to soccer practice. The average mom that's trying to get their kid to soccer practice, that's just working a 9-to-5 job that doesn't have time to check their social media. So it's fine. He doesn't have to like our poll. But it shows the truth that it's an uphill battle, and his window to win is closed. There's no pathway to victory, and I meant that as respectfully as possible. There's tons of people that have, thousands of volunteers have put in hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours, of their time organizing this recall, collecting signatures, and to have people not aware of the reality of their chances to win, or maybe potentially in it to promote their own business. That's a major issue. Once again, no pun intended when I use the word major. He doesn't have it patented, though. We'll get on. We'll talk about potential lawsuits later regarding Major. But let's jump into the next point of that, which was it's right here.
Pretty soon here in May, me and some of my partners are going to unveil a new social media platform that's going to allow you, the user, to take full advantage of it in the sense of being able to monetize it, essentially be able to create new revenue for yourself. I know we deal with a lot of obstacles, affordability, housing, just, the extra money after rent is paid or whatnot. And so we created this portal due to censorship that's happening, but also just for an opportunity to empower individuals, anyone who wants to participate in the process of empowering yourself, getting new revenue opportunities. This will be the social media platform that will revolutionize how we engage on social media. So I'm looking forward to the unveil. I just want to share that quick tidbit. We've been working on this for 10 years, but it's going to be monumental. It's going to be worth $1 billion in regards to this company. I'm excited to be a shareholder and also a partner, but it's something that I want to give to the Black community, the brown community.
All right, stop there. All right, so firstly, there's this. This was right after this story that he posted on his Instagram where he said, use it to your benefit. He's talking about his own benefit. He's talking about his own business and how he's been working on it for 10 years. He's been running for governor for the last year, and he doesn't, in our polls, hasn't shown a lot of results. And he's had a lot of controversy surrounding his campaign. You can be the judge. You can look up, there's California Underground. I had him on my podcast that'll be posting here in the next day or two. I had him on my on a live stream that we'll be posting on YouTube yesterday. He was talking about some of this stuff. Corrine Tatum has been following it, Taking Back California, which I'm going to show some of his stuff in a second regarding Major's past life. He has been apparently working on this business venture, and now he's promoting it on, maybe he's going to say this is his personal Instagram. I don't know. I have my, where I post a lot of stuff, and I run for office, but it says personal account for Brian Burley, but I do give some people, background information about what I'm doing behind the scenes on, the campaign. These are my close friends, a lot of times my family, and obviously that's starting to expand out. So I don't necessarily disagree with them, and next week I'm going to cover some things about some, dirty emails, some messages where people are pretty much telling me that I should go kill myself. This is what you put up with when you run for office, and that's what I was reaching out to Major. Do you want to put yourself through this? Because it's going to only get worse as it gets closer, or what I think the approach should be is just not give him any oxygen, and his campaign will probably just continue to lose momentum. Another important factor here is, over the last 3 weeks, he's been posting things. He's been acknowledging the negativity that's been surrounding his campaign, which, it's fine. But my advice would be to not acknowledge it if it's not true. So he's had a ton of staff members quit on him, and he's had a number of other controversies. There was pictures posted of him sending heart faces to, I think, some girls, and he's a married man. So people were really concerned about these different things. And then late last week, earlier this week, I don't know the exact time, he slashed the prices of all his campaign merchandise, which to me was a sign that he's kind of having a campaign short sale. And that's not a good sign, because he's fundraising and he's potentially taking money from people when he sees down the road that this isn't going to work. He won't admit it publicly. It won't happen. That's fine. But he's already acknowledging it in some of these things. Embrace all energy, good or bad. Use it to your benefit. It's to his benefit. And now he's using a page, if I pull it up here, that's, it's supposed to be for his campaign, or at least that's what it would appear. So he's using a page that would be for his campaign. It says, still God-led, family first, California gubernatorial candidate. That's what it says on the Instagram. And then when you go, let's go to mine real quick, just, comparison. I post stupid videos of me and my dogs at the beach, a ton of silly things. And it says personal account for Brian Burley, owner of my business, this podcast, and I'm candidate for office. It does say that it's there. Where is the line there? When you call the FEC, FPPC, I don't know. I really honestly don't know. I don't think the government knows. I would say this is a little bit more egregious because he's in the middle of a campaign. He hasn't talked about his business for the better part of a year, in terms of advertising. And now when stuff kind of starts to seem like it's going downhill, he's talking about how he worked on this for 10 years. And there's a thought that he was only running to give himself more notoriety so that this stuff could be successful. Back to that point of, is he doing this for, potentially his business? Was he really running for the people? He's saying his own benefit here. I don't think you should ever run for your own benefit. I think you should take your own needs into account in terms of mental health. Do you want to put yourself through a campaign? I don't know if he's done that. I know that he has now sent cease and desist letters to Corrine Tatum and apparently a few others. I can't confirm that, but Corrine Tatum did post the letter. And what it says in the letter, it's on the fourth scroll over on Corrine Tatum 2.0 Instagram. It says, as described above, your actions are salacious and defamatory. As you know, Mr. Williams uses Instagram, Facebook, and other popular social media platforms as a means of forming and maintaining relationships with his constituents, contributors, and volunteers. So he uses it for those means. It says it right in this. He's sending a cease and desist letter saying he's using the social media for those means. At the same time, he's promoting his business. I don't know where that's at. I don't know where that, You know, obviously he's a candidate. He's not holding elected office. I've always said if I were to be elected to certain offices that I would close down my business. I think that's what's best for the people. And when you're a private citizen, you're free to block people. You're free to do whatever you want until you're elected. And even after you're elected, I think if people are threatening you, you're still good to block people. But that's a conversation for another day. Now let's talk about his past life, because some people are worried about, this topic. He apparently used to be a rapper. That's fine if he has like a story of how he's come out of it. But let's watch. This was from Taking Back California's Instagram page.
A guy who can't control his wife. So these people are being malicious for no reason. I have no issue with these people, but for whatever reason, they continue to keep my name in their mouth.
And then you go 2 over, and he's rapping, and it just gets really bad. It's really loud. I'm sorry, I'll turn it down here. And it gets a little crazy. He starts cussing, and there's women with nudity. This is the kind of stuff that people probably don't want out of their next governor. And I'm going to talk about, the little clip there where he's talking about he told Kareem Tatum's husband to control his wife. That's not a good look either. And this is obviously not a good look. And he hasn't explained. Here it goes right here where it goes crazy. This is not good. You have to acknowledge this. Let me pause this real quick. You have to acknowledge this stuff when you run for office. You can't just expect that people are going to assume the best case. And in this case right here, the number one advice I would give him, where he's on Instagram, he's on his Facebook and everything, responding to random people. He responded to my poll, or responded to all these random people that he says even himself have a smaller social media following, but he can't stay off the phone. When you're running for office, you have to do your best. I hate social media now because he's right. It doesn't represent the whole, but they're loud. And if he was so right about people just being negative and it not being true, A, he would have been ready with a message to counteract all this, and B, he wouldn't be responding. He would stay off the phone, but he can't help himself, and we've seen that a lot over the last month. I feel at this point, with the stuff we're seeing, cutting in prices of campaign materials to sell them, still asking for money, now promoting his own business, he sees the writing on the wall. He won't admit it, that it's time to think major about why he's still in the race. We can't ask him to get out. That's on him. Is he doing it for his own good? I would not vote for him. That's just my honest opinion. Also going forward, I don't think we're going to include him in any more polls. I feel like, our emails out to 2 million people are probably giving him more name recognition than, and maybe potentially spreading up the vote where we can't recall Newsom because people are, getting their eyes on somebody that is, selling them, a false bag of goods, as you would say. So I'm not going to include him in any more polls after this. I don't think it'll matter. I think his campaigns, I'm not trying to have an opinion about things, but this stuff needs to be addressed. He needs to come out openly, and he can't be suing people that, are saying these things. You should just address it. He had a whole year to prepare. This has been Politician Reacts. We just reached 100 subscribers, so make sure to subscribe on YouTube, like this video, and share it with your friends. Thank you for your time.